So I wanted to speak with you today about what it's like traveling with kids full time on the road and homeschooling, budgeting, and everything that as it relates to kids. And if you, most of you may have raised kids and they're off college or adult working. And for those of you who do have young kids now, and you're merging into the full-time lifestyle on the road, you may want to know how to go about getting started and homeschooling and other things that it involves with having kids full-time on the road. So I want to say first that I do use a curriculum. However, I've met many parents who have schooled in many different ways. And some of them may use curriculum, some may homeschool online, and others just no school other than what they call road schooling or a combination of both. And the most popular one that I'm quite intrigued and interested in is unschooling. But I'm not there yet. I'm using the Bob Jones University curriculum, and it is the curriculum that we continued using once my daughter Bree, she was in a private Christian school. That's a curriculum they used, and that's the one we got used to. And so that's why we're more lenient to using that and prefer that. But there are many ways to homeschool and many different curriculum. And for parents who want to choose one, I would definitely recommend the Bob Jones University curriculum. It's online or DVDs. I use the DVD system just because I would like to travel at any time, pick up and go, and without worrying about internet services, because even though we have good internet, sometimes the location might be a little iffy. Having the DVD system allow us to school at any time, late or early. We don't have to follow a particular daytime scheduling. So I homeschool the girls with this curriculum, and it's working very well for us if you want more information on that later on. Also, I wanted to talk to you about budgeting while on the road with kids. It's just like budgeting when you're in a home raising your kids. You have to ensure that all their needs are met on the road. And so we do have a budget, and we uh, follow that budget to the T. I like budgeting to the very penny. And doing that helps us plan forward and can make future traveling plans without worrying about a particular funding for it, because if you do set up a budget, you know what your income is, you know what is going out, your expenditures, and so with a set budget, you're able to better sustain being on the road. We do believe in living a debt-free lifestyle while traveling, because I do believe ultimate freedom comes when you are also debt-free. Traveling around with debt can be a little daunting and stressful. So one of the aims of traveling with kids, if you are remain debt free and plan on doing so by making sure you're balancing your income and your expenditures, it will assist you in ensuring that your freedom is not messed up with uncomfortable bills that are following you around from day to day on the road. So it range between what your income is and the lifestyle that you're looking to live. You can simplify as much as you want to fit the budget that you have created for your income. It doesn't matter what level you're starting at, it's possible to achieve debt freedom, and it is very important while traveling on the road with kids. So there has to be a plan of action whenever you're traveling with kids. Firstly is that they will need to feel secure on the road. They will need to feel comfortable, they will need to feel protected. Just like when they're in a home and they're used to going to their community church or school or in a general environment where they feel safe. And if a child does not feel safe, traveling with them, it might, I would say, become very, very uncomfortable and cumbersome, and you may have to give up that dream of traveling with kids. Some of the tips that I have is when I travel with my kids, everywhere we go, it becomes home. So I will say to the kids, we are home, or it's good to be home. As soon as we get off the road and we set up camp and we get inside, we're like, it's good to be home. And the kids feel that comfort level of we're home. They're inside, they're secure, they're safe, they feel protected. And if you give them that guarantee and that comfort level, wherever you travel does not become a problem, they don't feel like they're out of place, they don't feel unsettled. And because of that, I take the time that every time we travel, I ensure letting them know that we're home, we're safe. They have to feel like not in their space and their environment. They have to feel like you're in charge and like you know what you're doing. And if you don't, at least act like you know what you're doing. The kids feed off of your energy and what they see you doing and how you feel and the words that come out of your mouth, the things you say. And if you act fearful and you act as though you're not sure about what you're doing, it is going to reflect on them. And they're going to feel that way and they're going to act that way. And then everyone is now uncomfortable and it's just a mess of a situation trying to control it then because they're already feeling unsafe. And so you have to be able to act as though you're in control of and you know what you're doing. That will help them a lot. And if you, once you get to know the kids that you're traveling with, your children or grandchildren, or whomever it is that you're traveling with, it is important to know their habits and what their likes and their dislikes and to try and do things that will make them comfortable. Allowing them to be a part of the planning process is also something that I do so they feel like they're a part of the traveling and the decisions made. Even when you limit it by choice, telling them, okay, we're heading to Flagstaff today. Would you like to camp here or there? And giving them that choice, you limit it because you know where you want to go. However, if you get them involved, they feel like, oh, I'm choosing where we're going. I'm choosing the expedition we're going on or the adventure. And they feel a part of the process and they're more likely to be happy and you know, just let go and be kids whenever they get to the destination just because they were a part of that planning process and they're looking forward to that. As for schooling, let me touch on that a little bit more. There is no right or wrong way of schooling children, just because it is individualized according to what each parent value is or what a parent is looking to get out of the whole schooling system when it comes to their kids. Educationally, if you want to do curriculum, that's fine. If you don't want to use a curriculum, that's also fine. The problem that you may run into is, or that I do, is whenever you meet someone else and they see that you travel with kids, the first thing they want to inquire about is their education and socialization of the children, because they're concerned that there might be pitfalls in their education and that they're not learning. But think about it. If you, from the age of 3, if you do preschool, or 4, maybe 5, 6 in most states like Georgia, where I'm from, you start schooling, right? But think about it. You're sitting in a classroom 5 days a week from early morning to the latter part of the afternoon. And you may think that it's all social for the kids, but not really. Their break time, yes, or times for physical education, yes. But most of the time it's just sitting in their little chair, their little cubicle, and waiting for the teacher to give them instructions. They cannot speak, they cannot communicate. See, wait, Mama. They cannot do much fidgeting. And so for all this time, it's centered around learning what your teacher is teaching. So the socialization part is not that much as most people may think. Okay, when it comes to traveling, also ensure that you're talking to the kids about not only where you're going, but let them understand the reason why you're going there, or who you're going with, or who is expected to be there. If you get them involved in all of your conversations, and as I said before, they're going to become your close friends at some point, because they're who you see every day and talk to, and you're now, all your friends and family are left behind. You may be traveling in a different state that's not your home state. So now discussing everything with them becomes, they're the now go-to person for advice. And you'd find quickly that their intelligence is, their intelligence has increased manifold just because they are interacting with adults now, and talking to a lot of grown-ups, and grown-ups who are so warm and kind to encourage them and teach them and say hello to them. So now they almost see adults as their friends. They barely wants to be around kids anymore. They're like they're eager for more wisdom, other than what kids has to offer as per se. So let your kids read everything, read a lot, even if you're not following through with your curriculum, because getting on the road, you may find yourself gradually being less intense with the curriculum, and from a day-to-day basis, it may not be as you dread it to be. Like, oh my gosh, it's when I just started homeschooling, I was driven to just make sure everything is in and at this on time, and everything is done, and they're doing 8 subjects per day, and they're not missing out on anything. But you quickly find that it's just a lot of overlapping knowledge, overlapping teaching and information. And once they're reading and they become avid readers, that's quite helpful, because once they love reading and enjoy reading, they can learn anything independently. They can tell you and give you a verbal or oral reports on anything that they're reading, so you are following up on their learning abilities and what they know, and you have an idea where they're at in their learning. So if there is anything that you need to catch up on right away, you know where to start. So you don't have to worry about their education. Kids are like sponges. They absorb really fast. They learn quickly. So that's not something that I would be concerned about on the road once you've chosen a curriculum or chooses to unschool them and school them in a way where it's interest-based. A lot of parents told me that they teach their kids interest-based subjects. They go based off what the kids like to do at the moment, even if it's temporary, and if they move on to something else, they move on to learning that material. And if they don't like it, they don't force it and push it like we do in using a curriculum. Whether it is or not they enjoy it, the material has to be covered, and then that's just it. There's no option. So I'm very intrigued and interested too in parents that homeschool that way, and gradually may do some of that, even if it's incorporated in my homeschooling curriculum. So that's going to be it. I've pretty much covered what it's like to homeschool on the road. There are lots of apps, whether you use iOS or Android, that can take care of budgeting. Homeschooling can take care of scheduling of subjects for your children. I do testing because that is a part of my curriculum. So I still do test them based on chapters that is in their books. It comes with the curriculum, so it's already there. So I just use that as my evaluation tool for what they're learning. And until I do differently, that's just what I do. If you are at all interested in the curriculum that I use, it's called Bob Jones University. And this university is one in which that even a homeschool child can be accepted in this university when they grow up. So it's another question that have been asked: how does the kids that homeschool get into the university or colleges after? It's quite as easy. And from my knowledge and from what I've researched and learned and speaking to different recruiters in colleges, that they are very open and welcoming to homeschoolers just because they feel as though they are more mature in their thinking and in their learning. And it don't forget, homeschooling is one-on-one. It is more concentrated on the child and their particular need and learning abilities rather than a group of students coming together and one or two of them might be left behind just because they have to keep ahead of the curriculum and what they need to teach to get through the year to move forward to the next grade. Zia, for example, she is 6, she's a year ahead. I have been contemplating starting her 2nd grade. She's supposed to be doing 1st grade. She had finished that. And I wanted to start her in 2nd grade, but there's no rush. And Bree, who is in 5th grade, she reads everything. Her knowledge increases daily. It's amazing how they just learn very, very well when it's just them and they're not competing against someone else and they're not competing grades and being anxious and they're not, burdened by the constant, what I would call it, the school levels that they need to be at. So they will rise above just because they're not under that constant pressure. So I'll open up now for questions. If you guys have any questions with regards to whether it's homeschooling or budgeting on the road or ensuring that the kids are safe, and pretty much traveling and knowing what you're doing and full timing, how to travel, where to travel, when to travel, how to ensure that the kids are not overstimulated and that they're not uncomfortable on the road, and just making sure that you guys are living happy and free and living your best life while you're on the road with the children. And my kids are relatively quiet. And so, as I said before, you may not see them bouncing off the wall around the place. That's just because that's what they're used to and how I train them.